regret this. Wait, how did you get?
We are live.
I'll tell you later. Oh All right.
We just started live with TJ saying, I'll tell you later.
Yeah. TJ, yeah.
All right.
So.
All right.
Yes, we are live, and it's Ask Junior. Let me get my beautiful sun drop here on the table. I just opened this thing, man.
Looks cold.
I'm sorry if you don't live in, I guess, the Southeast or North Carolina, South Carolina. This stuff's so good.
They do have it near Darlington. I see it in the stores there. You get much further away than that, you don't see it.
Oh, man. Anywho, and it's good with High Rock. One of my favorite. Sun Drop and High Rock vodka. So we're doing Ask Junior. TJ's here today. And we talked a lot about Watkins Glen. We have not talked about Bristol yet, so I'm hoping somebody has a question for us during Ask Junior about Bristol so we can preview that. And I'm apprehensive to talk about it, so I don't get nervous. I haven't started to get really too nervous yet.
You are in the race.
Yes, I
found that out yesterday.
Yes,
congratulations.
I mean,
you're
welcome.
welcome.
We did it.
You're welcome for that.
We're running so well with that 88, and so often that it's in 20-something in points.
And you're going to be the first pit stall too.
Yeah. So
good deal.
All these great things. I went and did the sim last night. So we worked on some race runs and just kind of got a sim was so helpful for me last year. I know if any of the Cup guys or the Xfinity or truckers are listening to this, some are like, yeah, sim, and some are rolling their eyes. But I was at sim last night, and which was very helpful for me. And I saw Austin Dillon, and I was like, dang, dude, it's like 6 o'clock at night. And he's like, yep, I'm getting ready to go in and do some sim. And he's like, I'm here twice a week. I have not missed but 1 or 2 sessions. He's there every Monday and Tuesday from Welcome, North Carolina, all the way down to Charlotte.
Gosh.
Every week.
Commute, dude.
Doing 3 hours a day in the sim. Plus, then he has his meetings, his race meetings, his team meetings, debriefs, previewing the next week.
Yeah.
I told him, I was like, dude, and he was around right when I was around, and we didn't do none of that shit. And I told him, I was like, if I had to be a race car driver today, I would be miserable. Because the week work used to not exist, right? You just had to stay in reasonably good shape, have a couple conversations with a crew chief. You felt pretty prepared. But now there's just so much stuff they do during the week that just, I'm lazy.
It's intense.
I'm lazy.
Well,
I'm too lazy.
That's a great first question from the YouTube chat. Garth wants to know how much sim you do these days, and I think it was just the one. It was just the hour. I got to go check that out with you too. So I appreciate you letting me tag along.
The sim for me, if I got a little nauseous in it yesterday. It's a little different every time you go. They are always messing with it, and so visually it's sometimes very easy, and then sometimes you get in it and you're like, oh, I'm a little sick. Something's not right. So I was in the car and I stopped. So I'm driving, everything's fine. And then I just, I got done testing whatever we were testing. So I brought the car to a stop. And the car just starts sliding down the track. And I was sitting there and I was like, I'm going to throw up. So, I mean, you're sitting in there and all of a sudden the world's just going that way. And it's just a weird thing.
Feeling.
It's wrong. And your head and your eyes see it, and they're like, ah! And
you're not supposed to feel that way.
Makes you want to puke.
Conner Zilisch was there, and I don't know if you heard this, but while you were racing in the sim, he's like, I can't believe he does this without shoes. You race the sim without shoes?
Yeah. So that's going back to my home sim racing.
Right.
So, yeah. So back when I first started sim racing at the house, the pedals weren't very beefy, and you could it was hard to feel how much you were mashing the gas or the brake, and everything that you have on makes that more difficult to understand. And so if you can, I wouldn't do it in bare feet because I do it in socks, so my feet can slide on the pedals, right? As you're mashing the pedal, you want your foot to slide like that. And so to understand exactly what I'm doing with a very cheap set of pedals that I might have been using back in the late 90s or whatever, I needed if I had a shoe on or any kind of a sole or anything, it was just harder to understand exactly the inputs you were using. And so I've gotten in a habit all my life of racing in socks online, racing at home in socks. And so when I go run that sim rig, he brings his racing shoes, and I probably could too. But again, going back to being lazy, I'm not toting around my damn driving shoes everywhere I go. So I just get there and pull off it's wearing driving shoes and socks is pretty damn much the same thing. Anyways, I mean, there's the racing shoe sole is like paper thin, and it's kind of like a wrestling shoe. So, yeah. But I have such a better understanding of how much I'm using the brake and the gas, and really very fine and detailed information about how precise I'm being with those pedals in socks. I mean, if I could race my real car in socks, I would. I really would.
Even last year's Bristol?
How many jokes?
Kind of warm. That'll be my last one.
That's your last one?
Yeah.
All right.
I think we need to put
TJ
motion.
got one.
No, we just need to put motion on your home rig. Get used to it.
I don't want that. $15,000 wasted. Don't buy a motion rig.
This kind of ties into the next question. A bunch of people have been asking this on Twitter, Facebook, even the YouTube chat. Just how are we feeling? We've got the driver and the spotter for this Friday's Bristol race. TJ, are you nervous? Are you nervous?
No, I'm not nervous.
All right, are you nervous then?
I get nervous. Yeah.
I'm not nervous.
I don't know. I can't help it. I get nervous.
That's a good thing, though. It means something, right?
Yeah.
It's easier this year already for qualifying, though. I mean, you got to feel a little bit better about it.
I do. Last year when we went, I was freaking out, and we and a few others were one of the one cars like that could miss the race. This year, everybody races. Or we're locked in, so I don't have to worry about that. I told the guys, I said, without that pressure, I'm probably going to qualify worse. But I just, for me, I just have to keep reminding myself. If I listen to you and everything else out there and everybody on the other side of the camera, if I listen to all of them, I hear, man, he's got a shot. He almost won it last year. Man, if the car's anything like last year, that's pressure, right?
Sure.
And that makes you nervous because you want to go deliver, right? You have all these people setting an expectation, and you're like, shit, now I got to go run good enough to win, right? And so
I plan on not winning. I don't know about you.
I know. See, this is the difference in me and other race car drivers. Some of us look at that and go, oh, that's more pressure. And others look at it and go, that's opportunity, right? Chase Elliott, he gets to Phoenix for his first finals. Actually, I think this is the year he won a championship. He got to Phoenix, and they interviewed him at the racetrack on Friday, and he's standing by pit wall. And I'm sitting there in my mind thinking, man, I'd be sweating bullets. I'd be so nervous. And so I don't know how he's, I don't know how these drivers, when they get to the final race at Phoenix, how do they manage the pressure? It's pressure. And they asked him about that, and he said, pressure, man, this is opportunity. I got a chance to race for a championship. I'm thrilled to have this chance. And it's just it's a really impressive thing for somebody to not see pressure, but see opportunity, be thankful, right? And so that's something that's something in your core, right? That's something in your wiring that is either one way or the other, and it's not easy to like rewire. And so, I have to think about, like, when I get into a race car, or I know I'm going to go run a race, I have to go, all right, here are my expectations. Here's what I want to be happy. And if I go run top 5, we run anywhere like we did last year, and we get to the end of the race with a damn good result or a win, I mean, holy shit, yes. I mean, I will be ecstatic. But I just want, when the race is over with, to have enjoyed what I just did. And I want a car that drives good, a car that I can move around with, be creative with, a car that I can pass with. I want to have some fun with whoever it is that I'm racing. I don't want to get I don't want to get jerked around or pushed around. I don't want to get pissed off. And I want to. There's a lot of boxes I want to check and some I don't want to check. And when at the end of the night, it's like, hey, all right, we came here to do what we did and had fun doing it. But last year was a blast. Yes, I've thought about what would have happened had the car not had the issue a million times. I've reran that over and over in my head. I mean, I have a vivid image of looking down at the floorboard and seeing that fire in the floorboard and going, and thinking in that moment, shit, this is over. So I mean, yeah, that's something that's hard. I want to go back and finish the job, right? But we'll see. That's the one thing. We got one race. I do one race, and you know how tough it is. You know how easy it is to show up and not be on, show up and miss the mark, miss the setup, whatever. Just have a decent car. We don't know when we unload if it's going to be as good as it was last year. That was a winning car. That car should have won the race. That's as good as you could ask in terms of having a car. And the chances of getting that good of a car when you only run once, the odds are not very good. So, but we feel prepared and ready, and it is the same car. So I know I've kind of talked around circles, but
we were going to make
fired up.
We were making it a little easier on
this. This is the conversation that's happening in my
your head
all day for the rest of the week, right? This really is what it's like, and I'm miserable to be around. I am, like, I'm miserable to be around because
it'll be good.
Yeah,
like
because
I remember,
I'm so anxious to get there, get in the car, and get some laps and hit the track. I just can't wait to land into turn one first time and see where the car goes. And
last year we landed into turn one, and about 3 or 4 JRM cars all wrecked with each other, so that had to be exciting for you when you landed into one time.
Yeah. This is perfect that TJ's here, and Dale, you and I were talking about this on the ride back from the sim yesterday, but Tyler wants to know, TJ, like, what does your role look like beyond just spotting Dale during the race? What are your midweek obligations, especially working with Dale ahead of this race?
Oh man, just like he said earlier, not just the driver. I think the spotter role has kind of turned into the driver prep role as well, where you're trying to give these guys as much info as you can because you don't want to leave anything uncovered when you get there. You want to be prepared for every scenario, every situation. Yeah. So I think we're always looking for ways to be innovative and trying to find more ways to get that. Like, the drivers are really busy now, so you got to find ways that they can look at stuff on the go. And so, I do a lot of video work during the week, a lot of prep work.
So if you're, if you're going to go to the race with Carson Quapple, right, what are the things that you must show him during the week? What does he need to see?
So Carson's he's a pretty big challenge because he's never been to some of these places, and he's brand new. So I try to come up with everything that I can find video-wise, in-cars, lift points, and I go and try to overlay some of that with SMT lines and put it all in front of him where he can sit there and look at it. Like, we went to Darlington for the first time. I had lift points already preset for him, like, hey, this is where you're going to lift on your first lap. Hey, 5 laps in, your lift point's already 3 car lengths back here. Hey, this is where you got to lift to run the wall. You try to build, because he doesn't have a notebook for the place yet. So I try to create the notebook for him visually with all the tools that we have, and we have so many tools now with in-cars and SMT data and race replays, things like that. So I try to put all that in front of him, and not just him, but like any driver. Like, these guys run so many laps at races. Even Brad, I try to put everything in front of Brad that I can. Hey, this is what your first laps look like on track last time we went to this track. How much throttle you carried, where you were on the speed chart. This is where you ended practice, and this is what you ran in qualifying. This is how much, you drove into the corner 3 car lengths deeper in qualifying than you did in practice. So be prepared for that. So you're just trying to curve all that and be one step ahead. Then obviously you got racecraft stuff like, hey, this move worked in the race for passing. Don't forget about this diamond in this corner, and if you got a big gap behind you and the race in front of you, give yourself a little room at the end of the straightaway. Make the pass on the exit of the corner since they're not going to have clean air. You try you try to clip them scenarios and show them. So when they go to that, the scenario's already made. You'd be like, I can't tell you how many times I tell Carson or even Brad during the race, like, hey, just like we talked about this week, and if I was standing in the bus stop with Conner Zilisch this week, I'd have been like, hey, just like we talked about this week, you're supposed to stop in the bus stop if you miss it.
Right.
You just paint all them scenarios and you create a database for these guys to go and look at on the go. So we have a lot of meetings with Carson, and I do meet with Brad, but you also want it at their fingertips because Brad is super busy a lot. So he might look at the stuff at 2:00 in the morning sometime. You know what I mean? But we can converse on there at the same time. He can put notes on there that I can go read them. I can respond back when I see it, and we can have a conversation kind of on the go. But it's definitely a lot of hours during the week, more than when we were back, like you said, back in the day there. You literally talked a little bit about it, and you just went and raced. You just went and raced.
We thought we were doing plenty. We thought we were doing enough. We thought we were doing all we could do.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's wild.
Homework.
Yes.
You've got a lot of homework this week.
It really is like going back to like 9th grade.
Yeah, right.
Yes. Who wants to do that?
No.
Yeah.
But instead of a test, you're driving a race car, so it's a little bit more fun.
Yeah.
This next question coming from the YouTube chat, our good friend Double O wants to know, how is the college football league going?
Good.
It's rolling.
Yeah.
And if I have more requests to join in my inbox.
Really?
So, yeah, I have got plenty of requests. Apparently, I let anybody in. I'm still waiting on you.
Oh yeah. Is it too late?
It's never too late.
Never too late.
Really?
Yeah. You can start whenever you want.
Yeah,
jump
whenever
right
you
in.
want, man.
Oh, wow.
I mean, you're just recruiting your program. It's not like it's
you just take over the programs, just like the coach gets fired and you get hired.
Oh, awesome.
It's going
cool.
well. I'm still doing.
UNC Charlotte,
they're doing good.
Yeah, we're
they're never going to be this good in real life.
Hey, they're listening,
I mean, they're not going to be top 10 in real life, probably.
We are in the top 10. We're 7 or 8-0.
Wow.
Doing really good. Yeah. We put up
getting some recruits, some 3-stars.
Who's your team?
So I took over Michigan, and it's ridiculously hard because you got to recruit so many.
So hard.
Not the games aren't hard, but recruiting is.
Top 5 team. The recruiting's so tough.
It is. But I did take over.
You get all these, you get thousands of recruiting points to divvy out, and oh man, who do you give recruiting points to?
It takes a long time, man.
So many recruits.
He's worried about a 3-star. I don't even look at 3-stars.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's got it so rough. He just looks at 5 stars.
I did take over Wyoming as well from because that's Josh Allen, where Josh Allen went. So I took over Wyoming.
Wow.
And they're about to be ranked, I think. So
yeah, he's got Wyoming's halfback is leading the Heisman race. TJ's cheesing
Sounds
it up
like
over
an
here.
awesome world we're living in.
About 175 yards a game, 4, 5, 6 touchdowns, and he's pretty good.
Yeah. Well,
Dale's going the more humble route.
I'm going the more realistic route.
No, he's creeping up to
Not
it.
playing cheese the whole game.
Okay, he's getting there.
So wait, has anyone claimed Alabama yet? Could I just jump in?
Funny story about that.
Alabama's available. Come do it.
I'm gonna come take Alabama.
They actually,
I need all the help I get.
They're number one. They're still number one.
Duggar had them last year.
Oh, really?
And he's such a sore loser. He quit when TJ beat him in the national championship.
There's less than a minute to go, and he quit. So that was.
By the way, you want a surefire play to run? It's a running play. Counter Y. It's like a glitch in the game. You're gonna gain yards every time.
Okay, gaining yards is important.
I will tell.
I think you just need to join the league and see if it works.
Oh, it will work. I'll join the league. All right. This
Great.
is official invite here. We got time for one more question. Let's see. I've got the name somewhere. It's Tyler. I want to say it's Tyler. I wrote the name here. The question's
That was the
here.
first guy.
Was it? No, it wasn't.
Thought it was. Maybe it wasn't.
Oh, well, I apologize. Reaction to Conner Zilisch winning in his first career start. TJ, you were spotting. Dale, you're the car owner.
That was nerve-wracking. You weren't living. And he's texting me, hey, let me know how it goes. And I'm sitting there trying to dude, we're going to run out of fuel. I didn't know how
I was
to
at
tell
a
him.
wedding. I knew you were going to run. I told everybody over and over. I said, they're going to run out of fuel.
Yeah.
They're going to run out of fuel. He's like, nah. They're like, he's leading on the last lap. I'm like, still a long ways to go.
Oh, my gosh. It was so nerve-wracking. We're going down the front stretch, and I got Andrew, who you would sim with yesterday, I'm sure. He's like, man, he's got to slow down because I'm watching Ty Gibbs' time. He's running like 74.5s, and Connor's going by running like 73.8s, and I'm like, all right, Connor, I want to hear you lift in front of me, and we go by the flag stand, and he lifts. well, he goes for like running 73.8s or something. Like he goes faster when he lists earlier. And I'm like, how does he even do this? And Andrew's like, he's got to slow down more. I'm like, Andrew, I don't even know how to tell him to slow down more. So there was a lot of tense moments there. But then, I don't know, he asked him, do you think you saved enough fuel? He's like, judging by the prototype car that I drove, I think we're good. So I'm like, okay, see how this goes.
Yeah. Well, I think the one thing about Conner is instantly I was getting all these text messages. Steve Myers at iRacing is like, do your magic and get him in the cup race for tomorrow. I'm like,
do your magic.
I'm like, I don't even want to have that debate about how we think Conner might have done in the cup race. But
what just happened there?
I don't know. My chair, my chair thing snapped.
I've never got that message before.
What is that?
I get
high heart rate from your Apple Watch. Damn, son.
Are you nervous?
At starting at 4:44, apparently my heartbeat rose to above 120 beats per minute.
Just standing.
While I was inactive for 10 minutes.
Wow.
So thanks, Conner.
Yeah.
You're stressing me out.
So you do get nervous.
Yeah.
Apparently I was nervous.
Yeah. All right.
So
answer that question.
Yeah. So I think I think the question for everybody is just really how good is Conner, and 18 years old, he has some very, very smart, sharp, incredible talents on road courses. I mean, you witnessed it.
Right.
I mean that what he was doing out there with the lap times and so forth is hard. It's very rare.
Very
right?
rare. Yeah.
Generational. And so in that discipline, he excels. He's elite, even at 18 years old. And as he understands and apply, as he drives these cars more, or like wearing a glove, it gets more and more comfortable, like a driving glove, breaking in a shoe or whatever. I mean, as he understands these cars more and more and has more and more time in them, I think that he just gets even better. The ovals, right? He has some oval experience racing in the ARCA Cars Tour. I think that he's learned some very good racecraft on the ovals racing in the Cars Tour. I think that's probably the best thing about the Cars Tour is trying to get understanding racecraft and so forth. But I think we just got to see more of him racing on the ovals, right, to really understand that's a totally different discipline, totally different way to approach a corner and drive a corner. Let's see, where he is talent-wise there and how much, he's certainly tons of upside. But, I'm patient to let that sort of play out. He is a Trackhouse project. He is their future, right? And so we're just kind of really lucky that, Rick and Kelly and me and everybody's really on board with, giving this guy an opportunity, even though in all likelihood he's never going to, go up into the Hendrick pipeline. We're willing to be a place where he can hone his skills and develop into the driver that Trackhouse wants him to be. And so I'm really thankful that we can do that here at Junior Motorsports. It's going to be so much fun working with him and trying to help him, polish all these little areas where he may need polishing. Maybe he doesn't need much. But it's pretty exciting to have a guy like that coming into your system. I can't tell you. I mean, he's elite in some areas, right?
He's only 18.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's funny. It's silly almost, but you get these, you get on the college football, or when you play Madden, right? You get these sort of athletes that are super elite, right?
Yeah.
And over the course of a couple of years, right, you sort of train them and improve the things they need to do better. Mm-hmm. And I mean, he's literally like turnkey, ready to go, and just and he's smart, man. I was with him last night at the sim rig, and you're sitting there talking to him, man, and he is just composed. I don't know how, at 18 years old, he has that type of maturity. Man, I was not there. I don't think I had it at 26, to be honest with you. So, I mean, he's a total package, so it's going to be cool.
We'll find out at Kansas is his first mile and a half.
There we go. Homestead. And that's fun. All of us, we're all going to be glued to TV seeing just what he does and how he looks, right? and there'll be people that will be critical, and that's
for sure.
That's for him to. He's got to be ready for that, right? There's the people out there that are saying right now, pump the brakes, don't get overhyping him a little bit, and so he can handle that. He's pretty mature about it.
He did something real quick in qualifying. He went out and laid a lap down, and I saw him miss the bottom and one a little bit, and he knew already that he missed it. And so we went over a little bit, and he's like, I know exactly what I need to do. And he goes out and runs like 3/10 faster. Like, just to be able to know, and he was so calm talking. He's like, yeah, I know what I need to do. I'll get it next time. He just went out there and did it, and I'm like, okay, then.
Yeah.
That's legit.
Yep.
That's pretty cool. Well, that's a good place to wrap it. By the way, the YouTube chat, they all saw the chair thing happen.
Yeah.
Matt said you almost ate it.
Almost flipped out.
You almost,
There's
almost
this
lost
little
you there
thing.
for a second.
Screenshot it
There's
right in
a
the middle of it.
There's a thing
Yeah,
right
that's
here.
the thumbnail.
There's a thing right here that lets it rock back.
Yes.
Is that broken?
It was just barely engaged, and so and now I've got her. She's in there good now.
All right.
So,
I said it like that.
hey, make sure you tune in later when the show comes out. Me and TJ go over everything at Watkins Glen in the Cup race, and we talked to Chris Buescher, and we have some pretty interesting things that we're going to share during our Dirty Modo segment today. With NFL cranking back up, we had some fun Sunday with that on our FanDuel account. So, it's going to be a fun show. It'll be out later this afternoon, and I appreciate everybody for checking in on YouTube, and have a great day.